Prayer is like breathing for a Christian and for anybody in general. It is really the way in which we inhale God's presence. We inhale the things God wants us to do. It is an essential part to our beating heart as a believer. We don't want to just become a group of people that sit in a room and pray. We want to be a group of people that sit in a room and pray and then go into the community and do. We want to empower people and to learn what God sounds like, what God feels like in their life on a day-to-day basis and in a regular rhythm, and establish the importance of incorporating prayer into their life as a daily and essential part.
The name Cedar Abbey is loaded with many levels of symbolism and meaning in our prayers for what this ministry will become for the Opelika and Auburn areas. This little town is packed with a lot of history that we were totally unaware of, but in our research we discovered that some of the first pioneers to Opelika were actually missionaries to the Native Americans who lived here. And the first church in Opelika was called Lebanon. It was a small log cabin just a few miles from what is now downtown. We visited the old church site, and the historical mile marker there says that the congregation of Lebanon became the nucleus around which Opelika would prosper. And that really hit us hard, and we took that to heart, and that became our prayer, that God could use this endeavor of this prayer ministry to unify a new nucleus of God's people right here to bring a new era of prosperity to Opelika. But it would be a lasting spiritual prosperity. We also remembered that Lebanon is mentioned in the Old Testament. We looked back and remembered that the cedars of Lebanon was the chosen materials for Solomon's temple. This was a beautiful temple for the Lord that was full of miracles and God's power and glory in His presence. And that also is part of our prayer, that this building will be a place of God's presence that is felt in a new, real way to everyone that encounters it.
Last Monday, Thursday, God really spoke during the time of communion and prayer through the card that Ashley made of what is God saying to you and what are you going to do about it? And I didn't know specifically he was going to say to have a physical building and invite people in to a lifestyle of prayer and worship and community. But he told me to open my mouth about what he'd put in my heart and not to hold that back because it wouldn't be healthy. So he blessed that, the obedience and the act of faith. And as it spread, it grew. And door opened after door opened until the physical door of this place opened, and we have the keys, we have permission, and we have the blessing of Opelika to restore this place, to make it beautiful.
The vision of Cedar Abbey, the idea of Cedar Abbey, is to provide a place of refuge, a place of prayer and safety in downtown Opelika. What we really want more than anything in the whole world is for people to be able to walk by and have a place where they can come in and feel safe. And if it's a time in their life where they need comfort, then it's a place where we can provide comfort with God's word and God's love. And if it's a place where people just need to hang out and have a good time, we also can provide that space where they can come in and talk, and we'll have coffee and drinks and things for them to be able to sit down and gather around, have community, and build those sorts of things. In the aspect of being able to come in here and express creativity, that's definitely a really big part of the Abbey, that it is a place where creativity can flow spontaneously and freely, whether it's painting or spoken word or poetry or drawing or music. We want to be able to have concerts in here where people can come in and worship God for as long as they want, for hours into the night or even early in the morning. We want it to be able to be a place where people can come in and freely express the ways that God has blessed them with, because we really feel that people need a place like that sometimes. We're really looking for people to join arm in arm with us in the things that we're doing here. This isn't just a thing for a few people to do. We want as many hands and feet and hearts and minds involved with what we're doing here, people with many talents and many skills and many different abilities that we don't have as a small group of people, and we want to incorporate as much of the community as possible in doing this. The more you can do just out of your love and out of servanthood, the better. And we would really appreciate you being able to help us in any way. If you can help financially, great. If you want to come in and sweep the floor, that'd be awesome too. If you want to help replace windows, that'd be even better. We're going to have to repaint walls. We're going to have to restore an entire space to be able to house people and to be able to house equipment and do the things that we want to do. But it's definitely going to be a beautiful picture of God's restoration in our lives. As we take one of the older buildings in downtown Opelika and create it and bring it back to life, and to restore it to a purpose that is out here for God's glory purely and solely.
All right. Our God is greater. Our God is stronger. You believe that? You believe that? Come on. That is, we're here because we believe that. We come to a night like this to celebrate all that God has done, is doing, and will do, because we believe that God is greater. He is stronger. And that we need Him, And so it's great for us to come here and do that. If you're new to this night, that's what we're doing here. We've been doing it for about 14 years, just choosing to come together one night a year just to say, yay, God, thank you for who you are and for what you're doing in this world, and thank you for this church that you've called into existence. It's an opportunity for us just to celebrate all of that, eat some good food. How's the Vendatories? Is it okay? Is it working for you? Yeah? Okay, good. Hey, while you're clapping, how about a little bit for the band? Come on. They work hard and in the middle of getting ready for this Sunday to make this night happen, and always do such a phenomenal job of leading us, and I appreciate them so much. But so we're going to do that tonight. We're going to celebrate, look back, look forward, recommit ourselves to God's work, to expanding His kingdom, and doing that through this church. So I'm grateful that you are here. That video about Cedar Abbey, we're very excited about what they're doing. And we wanted to show that for a couple of reasons. One, just to kind of promote it and let you know that this is a ministry that's coming online. And Zach and Starlin and Ashley are right there at that table. So y'all raise your hands because I want you to know where they are. They're right there, yes. And here's the thing that I love about what they're doing in creating a prayer ministry in downtown Opelika and creating a sacred space. Well, first of all, I remember when Starlin first told me about it. We were at a Connect dinner, and after we were done, she goes, "Hey, I want to tell you about something," And so she starts telling me about this ministry of prayer and just all the things that go with that. And so I was kind of thinking, well, maybe she wants the church to support it or kind of make it a program or put it over here. Can I have a staff person, or can we have some money or something like that? She never did that. The only thing she asked for at the end was, "Can you please give me people that we can pray for?" And I was like, that's a win right there. Yes, we will give you people to pray for. And the beauty of what's happening with Cedar Abbey is that it was like, we all have a seed of ministry in us. If you don't know that, you know it right now. So now you're accountable for that. But we all have, as believers, a seed of ministry within us. It's just discovering what that is, really. And that's what's happening right here, is they discovered this ministry seed that was placed in them. And as Starlin said, she was here at our Monday, Thursday service, and she's reading that card, and those two big questions: what is God telling me to do, and what am I going to do about it? That's our whole discipleship journey wrapped up in two questions, and she knew she needed to be obedient with that. And so she started, praying about that. The three of them started praying about that, and that's what was born. Not a program. Nothing that is going to sit under the umbrella of Cornerstone, and that's a good thing so that all churches, everybody, all believers can be a part of that. They just said, what, God's calling us to do it, and we should do it. And we love celebrating that. Just people who go, I believe God is calling me to do this, and I can't help. I have to do it. I have to be obedient. I have to go. I have to reach that person or reach, these people group or my neighborhood or whatever that may be. But just seeing God raise up his people to do these things is so good. So thank y'all for what you're doing. If y'all want to help and be and participate in that work, please see them afterwards. If you want to go over and help them drag old stuff out of that building, they'd love that, you know. If you just want to get on your knees over there and pray that this becomes that sacred space, they would love that too. Or if you want to do all that, they would gladly take you on. So you're welcome to check with them on that. Okay, so let's just take a minute. I want to kind of look back at where we've been over this last year, celebrate a little bit of that, and then look forward. So if you have your card, go ahead and pick that up. This is our infographic card that we thought was a great way to share some information. Now, clearly, this card does not embrace everything that has happened in ministry and in the life of this church over this last year, but it's just a way for us to have a few things to say, all right, here's what's going on. So let me just highlight a few things. I won't be able to cover everything, but so if you're looking on that page that has Cornerstone Church, leading people to know and serve Jesus, by the way, everything that's happening on this card is all helping us lead people to know and serve Jesus. That's our mission. So everything that we're seeing here is helping us push that forward in this community and around the world. So we have 917 members. 87 were new in 2014. We baptized 68 people, and that's, you know, we love that particular number right there. Behind every number is a person, right? A person deeply loved by God, a person who needs ministry. And so I love these baptism numbers, people who are professing their faith in Christ. 350 people were involved in one of 24 small groups. Small groups, so important to what we're doing in this church. And I'll come back to that and talk about it in just a minute. But lots of people in small groups want to see that grow in this next year. Foster care ministry, we continue to make connections, especially with the Big House in terms of foster care. 256 volunteers shared their time and talents each Sunday. That's a lot of people, but it takes a lot of people to keep this ship moving. You know what I'm saying? Ship moving is what I said there. Anyway, so just keep when it came out, I was just like, let's get that clear. So anyway, sorry about that. I didn't mean to interrupt anything there. Focus. Okay. That's probably the only thing you'll take away from the night. Do you know what I think Rusty said? Okay, anyway, 42 people served on... Let's pray. And, wow.
You could be the first on.
Just don't make comments, okay? I'm already behind on my time, and they're going to kill me if I go over, so. 42 people served on one of 6 trips to Uganda this last year, and just a great continuing connection that we have going on there, so we're celebrating that and loving that. Bottom left corner there, talking about the giving, total contributions toward our operating budget, $1.3, almost $1.4 million. Let me just say big thank you. The way that you continue to be generous to God in this church. We're still working on getting our giving to match our budget. That is still an area that we're working with, trying to sort of recover a little bit financially, but you are pointing us in a positive direction. I just want to challenge all of us and challenge our whole church, wherever they are. This is something that we want to continue to work on and really just pray that God will continue to help us be more generous. And, the thing that I'm reminded of is like everything on this card and everything that happens in ministry is really so much a result of just giving of yourself, giving of your time, giving of your service, and giving of your financial resources. That's what makes ministry continue to grow, the kingdom of God continue to expand, and it's a blessing, and I'm grateful for what you do in that area. Exponential Movement, total given, 1.1, a little over $1.1 million. We've had some people who, that ended in December, by the way, so that 3 years of Exponential Movement ended in terms of our commitments, but we've had several people let us know that they're going to continue giving. Boy, if everybody just keep giving, man, it'd be so awesome. Anyway, just throwing that out there. We really love to see that debt be gone. And so just, again, challenge you, encourage you to pray about what that might look like for you if you want to continue to be a part of that. Okay, let me jump back up to missions for just a minute. $75,000 was raised for the new medical clinic. Such a beautiful gift that, we talk about the gift that keeps on giving, right? This is the gift that will keep on giving in an incredible way in that community. And so we look forward to that coming online this year. If you'll flip that card over, 3 big areas there, kids, youth, and college. You can look through that and take some time and look through all the numbers that are there and the ways that we're reaching the next generation, which, all of us who are of this generation on this side of kids and youth and college, we know, right, how important it is that this next generation be dialed in to Jesus. Just look at the world around us. We're going to need their leadership, right? So all that we do to invest in our children, youth, college students is vital, and it's important. And I was talking to somebody today just about our college students, how much we love them, and it's so hard when we lose them, and we've had these 4 years or however much, sometimes 6 years with some of our folks. But anyway, we've had this long time with them, and then it's so sad when they leave, and it's so hard, for some of them that we've really just gotten to know really well. And I was saying, yeah, and it really is, but at the same time, what's beautiful is they take our mission with them. Because I can't tell you how many college students come to me and say, I'm going to be so sad when I have to leave here. It's meant so much to my life. Jesus has worked me over in these 4 years of being in this church and given me a place to serve. No. And I'm like, what's so good about that is, in New York and Minnesota and Illinois and California and countries around the world, students will go and they'll take the mission out there. And for the rest of their life, I would like to think that they're going to look back on their time in college and remember this church Cornerstone. Right, Marcus? Okay, just checking. They're going to remember this church Cornerstone. And they're going to talk about the influence that it had. And maybe they'll pass it along to some college student one day and say, hey, you need to get plugged into a church wherever you are. So anyway, it's just important. And I love the way that we love our students around here. And it's vital to the mission. One more thing, it's not on the card, but all the Equip sessions that we had over this last year, Equip Women, Equip Finance, Parenting, studying the Bible, we had a total of almost 400 people that were part of these Equip sessions. And that's another piece that we really want to see grow in terms of equipping the body. That's what we feel like we're a part of. Okay, this last Sunday, Lee Scott marked their 3-year anniversary. Can you believe it's been 3 years? Man, so awesome. Josh sent me some stats. He said, we've done the setup and tear down the entire church space 156 times. This means that we've set out 2,184 rugs in the Cornerstone Kids area. We've set up 43,680 chairs. That's 31,200 in the gym, 12,480 for the kids. All the work of setting up the stage, pipe and drape, 2 sound systems, transporting food, moving trailers, dealing with flat tires in the rain, cleaning up so it looks like a church of 200 people were never even there and worshiping in a gym has profoundly shaped us. Do you think? It's like, yes, that would shape you. Just like it did back in the skate center. We just, these are things that God uses to make us His, to really show the world what the church can do and what love looks like and what serving looks like and what, faithfulness looks like and endurance looks like and all the things that we do. And God takes that faithfulness and does amazing things. So it's awesome. So thank you to everyone who gave, served, loved, worked, struggled, worried, believed, and remained faithful to our church over this last year. I know that many have sacrificed to serve on Sundays by getting up early and being here. You've made sacrifices to bring others to church and to invest in them. Maybe you overcame some fear to join a small group or pushed aside complacency to be involved in a mission effort. Maybe you gave up your fear of flying to go to Uganda. I know we had a few that did that. I don't know what that is, but I'm grateful for it. Many of you have sacrificed to keep your financial commitment to God in this church. Thank you. I can't tell you how important that is. Important to creating environments where people can come, and particularly unchurched people and folks who are broken and struggling, and they can come here and they can not be judged, and they'll be warmly accepted and warmly welcomed and invited into community and shown what the love of God really looks like. Thank you for that. That's how your commitment matters. That's what it does. And if we had time, I'd let some of you just send up and share a testimony of that, and it would be amazing. But that's what we're trying to do here. All right, I'll stop. I'm about to cry here. So let's look forward. Let's just talk about that. In this next year, we are going to do everything that we can to continue to press this mission of leading people to know and serve Jesus and continue to create environments where people can come. One aspect of that is that we want to see discipleship continue to grow. We started that this last year, but we want to make that a priority for us. So obviously Sunday morning is one component of the discipleship of people as we're moving down this journey of Christ. And so making that Sunday morning environment both a place where non-believers can come, as I talked about, and a place where believers can be challenged. So like our messages on Sunday morning, we brought a lot more challenge with that intentionally. So that disciple series, many people came and said, man, I'm so challenged. I'm like, good for you. We need to be challenged, right? But we also need an environment where people can come. My dad, I can remember when he would come to our church and he would visit, and then we would recap afterwards. He would always say, man, Rusty, there's just something so good. Every time we come up there and we visit your church, and I can't really put my finger on it. I don't know what it is. I just love it, and there's just like an it. I don't know what it is. There's just an it. Actually, then later, a book came out. Some preacher wrote it called The It Factor that talks about the fact that churches have an it factor. And well, we know it as the Holy Spirit, right? That is the it factor working in the church that's sometimes so hard to put a finger on, working through all of us. And so I would love to see the it factor continue to grow in our church and make that Sunday morning environment just a great place for people to come and get connected to God. Small groups, obviously that's going to be something we're going to continue to grow. We believe that life change happens in circles, not rows, that there's this opportunity when we get in these small groups to really grow and challenge each other and serve together and love each other. Let me just add this, that the pastoral care challenge in this church continues to grow every year. So Josh and I, our staff, trying to take care of everybody in the hospital, new babies, good grief, we got new babies like every week around here. It's a daggum fertile church, man, I'm not kidding. But anyway, like that challenge continues to grow, but the thing that helps us with that is people being involved in small groups. I can't tell you how many times somebody has come to me and said, oh, Rusty, hey, do you know so-and-so was in the hospital, or they had this going on in their life, and I'm like, I didn't hear about that. Well, don't worry about it. We've already taken care of them. We took them food and we cut their grass, and that happened like a month ago. Like, what? Well, great. That's the way it should happen, is with people people you've been journeying with, people who know your story. It's just a beautiful thing when we care for each other. So anyway, small groups. Equip sessions, more of those. We did it on women's. We're going to have to do a men's. We're going to put lazy boys in here. We're going to order a lot of pizza. We're going to watch MMA fighting. It's going to be awesome. Actually, not one of those things will happen, but it'll be great. We'll do another parenting equip, finance equip, those kinds of things. Discipleship groups are continuing to multiply. We want to see more of those happen. People sharpening each other, challenging each other, learning what it means to be shaped in the image of Christ. Missions, the medical clinic is going to be a new dynamic for us, and going to Uganda, a really good one, obviously. That will not come online until the end of this year. But man, I'm just amazed that it's going to come online because of you people. I mean, really, that really was phenomenal to raise that money and to see this thing happen that quick. So it's going to be great. We're going to spend some time this year taking trips to Vision with our leaders over there to help understand what the future will be. What does it look like for us to come and engage with the medical clinic or the new church that we're helping sponsor at Africa Renewal University? What will trips look like with that? So you'll be hearing more about that as those come online. Okay, WinShape Camp. We've been talking about this. And we want to continue to plug this, and I'm very, very excited. If you don't know, WinShape is really a ministry of Chick-fil-A, and camps that are put on all over the place. These are Monday through Friday day camps where they're sharing the gospel in just fun and exciting ways. And from what I hear, people who send their kids to these camps, it is amazing. So we're really glad to be able to partner with the WinShape to bring the camp here to this area. And that's going to be happening. In fact, that's going to be our VBS, or our Camp Cornerstone, this summer. The great thing about it is the effort is to really bring the whole community into this. And so I'm going to pause right there. We've got a quick video. So let's watch the video, and then I'll come back and talk about it some more.
Cornerstone is doing something new and exciting this summer. We are hosting WinShape Camps for Community, and we were chosen as one of 84 communities that WinShape Camps will be traveling to this summer. WinShape offers us the opportunity to provide an unprecedented day camp to our children at Cornerstone and to children throughout the community. A day of camp includes activities like sports, recreation, crafts, the arts, and worship and Bible teaching, all with the goal of helping our kids grow in character, deepen their faith, and develop relationships that will last a lifetime. I'd like you to hear from one of our college students who spent last summer on staff with WinShape Camps for Communities, as well as a Cornerstone family who attended this camp in Atlanta.
My name is Adam Thompson. I work with the Cornerstone Kids on Sunday mornings and the Cornerstone Youth on Sunday nights. My role last summer with WinShape Camps was a Safari team time leader and a flag football coach. During my Safari team time, I had 3rd and 4th graders each week And when I coached flag football, I had campers of all ages. My team traveled to 9 different locations last summer. Staff training in Rome, Georgia is very insightful and rewarding. The full-time staff at WinShape do a great job of getting us prepared to spread the gospel to campers. My favorite part about the WinShape Camps ministry would have to be my relationships I make with the campers. This provides me an opportunity to spread the gospel to them in a way that is relevant and that is easy to understand. To show even just one camper that they can have a relationship with Jesus makes the entire summer worthwhile. Every week last summer, I got to see campers come and do camp Monday through Thursday, and then on Friday, I got to see their families come with them. I got to experience a joy that was contagious, and I got to see their campers make their parents happy to come to camp. It was a cool thing to see, because I got to see Jesus work not only through us as staffers, but through the campers. During week 7, my team went to Decatur, Georgia. During this time, I had 2 campers named Estella and Adelu. Adelu was telling the team time that he couldn't go to church as much as he would like to because his parents were divorced. Estella looks over to Adelu and says, "It doesn't matter that your parents are divorced. Your image is in Jesus Christ." This is a pretty surprising thing to hear coming from a 3rd grade girl. This challenged me in many ways because if Estella could love Adelu just like this, then how much more can I love somebody and tell them their image in Jesus Christ? I'm working WinShape Camps again this summer because it provides me an opportunity to get pumped and spread the gospel to cities and communities that need to hear it nationwide.
I'm Stacy Tarpley, and my husband Matt and I have been here in Auburn for about a year and a half. We moved from Atlanta, where we had spent the past 13 years in Gwinnett County.
We were first introduced to WinShape Camps in the summer of 2012 at our local church in Atlanta. And right from the first time we went, our kids loved WinShape. It's a different camp than any other kind of camp that your children will experience, and our kids really enjoy it. As parents, we always enjoy sending our children to camp. And they've been to Vacation Bible Schools and other camps before, and they always came home excited. But it was different after WinShape. They came home and they wanted to tell us about their day and tell us what they learned and share the Bible verses with us and tell us about all the neat experiences that they had that day at camp.
One of the best things that I think that I saw from our children was the excitement that they had from the minute they got out of the car, and they didn't want to leave the new friends that they had made or their camp counselors, and they could not stop talking from the minute you pick them up at 4:55 until they went to bed that night at 7:30, 8 o'clock about their new friends and all of the new experiences they had, the worship time together, the small group time, when they first get there, all the excitement with all the activities in the parking lot. It was a day, longer day than a school day, and they could not stop talking about it.
WinShape's pretty amazing. The energy and the excitement that the counselors and the volunteers bring to the camp just takes it to a whole nother level, and the kids feed off of that, and they're excited and happy to be there, and they capitalize on that in their worship experience, because that's a very high energy time where they hammer home the truths for the week from the scriptures. WinShape Camp is about so much more than just the kids and our family specifically. I was able to take what my children learned at camp in the summer of 2013 and use those same themes and those same scriptures with my students at my high school when we had a weekly Bible study in the fall of 2013. WinShape is about impacting the community as a whole.
I mean, our kids were so excited when we told them after church that WinShape was coming. I remember seeing it in the bulletin, being like, "Matt, look, it's coming here."
We were absolutely planning on going back to Atlanta this summer to give our children the opportunity to participate in WinShape again. And we are very excited to have WinShape coming to Cornerstone and the Auburn and Opelika community. And we're looking forward to a great experience this summer as well.
I'm Ellie Tarpley and I'm 10 and in 5th grade. At WinShape, we got to choose 3 different activities, and in the mornings, around lunchtime, and before we left, we had worship and we learned about God and Jesus. I was excited about WinShape because I knew it was going to be different from other camps.
What was do you remember your theme for the first year you went?
No, I do not. I know.
Guard your...
Guard your heart, I think.
Because that's...
The most important thing, and that's where Jesus is.
WinShape Camps for Communities will be here at Cornerstone Church June 15th through the 19th, and registration opens this coming Sunday, March 1st. We hope you'll sign your kids up for camp and that you'll find a way to participate too.
All right. So, you can be involved with WinShape Camps, and if you would like to participate in some way, you can see Jack and Jill. They'll be up the hill. Anyway, you can talk to them, and they can point you in the right direction. You know what? Maybe it's not some participation kind of. Maybe it's just you want to sponsor one camper. You know, that would be great. We are trying to raise money so that we can offset the costs for folks in our community to come. I think we're raising about $15,000 to $20,000 total, and we have some folks who've already said yes, they're in. They want to commit and be a sponsor. If you would like to be involved in that way, please let us know. There's still information out here in the corner, out in the lobby, that you can pick up and take with you if you'd like to get more information. So here's the thing. When I look at all this and I look at what has yet to happen and all the ideas that God has yet to bring to us, I'm like, just more, God. Just more. How can we do more? And in light of that, I think about what Paul wrote in Ephesians 3, writing to the people at the church in Ephesus. He said this. He said, "For this reason I kneel before the Father, from whom every family in heaven and on earth derives its name. And I pray that out of his glorious riches he may strengthen you with power through his Spirit in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. And I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power together with all the Lord's holy people, to grasp how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God." And then this, to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us. To him be glory in the church and in Christ Jesus throughout all generations, forever and ever. And I love these words, written to that church so long ago and written to every single one of us today, praying that we may have power together with all God's people. And you know what I'm thinking? Like, if every one of us as followers of Jesus individually really grasp the power of Jesus within us and let that be alive in our life, man, if we did that individually, imagine what the church could do collectively. Together, we do that. And this community and the world wins. And then this whole other idea of, you know what, to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we could ask or imagine. You know, I'm like, man, I can ask God for a lot. I mean, I can imagine some pretty big things. And whenever I bring that to God, he goes, you know what, Rusty, I can do 10,000 times more than you're asking. I can do a whole lot more than you're imagining. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. It's not about me, it's about you. It's about what you can do. It's about me believing in you and trusting in you and praying bigger prayers and wanting to see bigger things happen. That's what we're talking. That's the God we serve. The one who does immeasurably more than all we can ask or imagine. The one who calls us out onto the water, like Peter, and says, hey, I'm out here. You know, Jesus is like, I'm out here on the water. Don't you see it? I'm out here. And Peter goes, yeah, I see you out there, so call me out there. And Jesus says, well, come on, Peter, let's go. Peter steps out on that water. Out of faith and trust and belief that Jesus will sustain him and take care of him, he steps out on this water. And you know what he does? He walks. He walks on the water. And that was one step toward the immeasurably more that would happen in Peter's life. When one day he stands up and preaches and 3,000 people come to know the Lord, and he leads a movement of the church that spreads around the world that becomes us today. Immeasurably more. That's what Peter did. Then I think about those 11 folks back in the boat, back in the lazy boat. They didn't want to get out on the water. They were like, man, we're good. We're here. We're comfortable. We don't want to risk anything. We don't want anything crazy. Peter's kind of crazy. He can go out there and do that thing. Now, let me ask you something. How much power does it take to stay in the lazy boat? How much faith does it take to stay in the lazy boat? How much more can happen in the lazy boat, which is kind of like the lazy boy, isn't it? Anyway, it doesn't take a whole lot. It takes a whole lot of faith and power to be out there on that water where there's waves and wind. But you know, that's where Jesus is. That's where Jesus is. He's not in the comfortable boat. That's right. He's in downtown Opelika at Cedar Abbey. That's where he is. He's at Shepherd's Cove. He's at Arbor Springs. He's in the schools. He's in the cracks and crevices of our community. And he's saying, come out here. Cornerstone, come on out here. This is where I am. Trust me. You see, that's what I see as the future of our church, is going out there. And you know, when Becky and I rolled into town, 1999, with our 3 little boys and a hope and a dream and no house and no building and no people and a church, we just had an image of what could happen. And God said, let me stretch that out for you a little bit. And in 16 years, hundreds of people have come to know Christ, and hundreds of kids and youth and college students have come to this church. Families have stayed together. People have found their mission. God said, see, I can do immeasurably more than all you can think of. But you got to trust me. So, tonight is also a night when we get to say yes to all that again. And so I thought it might be good. You know how we stand people up on Sunday morning when they want to join, and we say they're going to partner with us, and then I ask them, or Josh asks them those questions, will you support this church with your prayers, presence, gifts, and service? You know how we do that? Well, I just thought it'd be good if we all reaffirm that tonight. You good with that? So stand up. You all have been at this church. You've agreed at some level with our mission and what we do around here. You believe in what God is happening and what God is doing here through us, what is happening here, the ministry that He is up to. And I think that you have said you want to be a part of that. So will you recommit yourself again to the work of God and advancing His kingdom, and recommit yourself again to Him doing that through this church called Cornerstone? Will you do that? Did everybody say I will? I think everybody did. All right, well, sit back down. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm grateful for your commitment. And I pray that we all live that out as we go into this next year. Now, here's what I want to do to wrap up this time, as we did last year. I want us to pray around our tables. And I really just want us to pray about what does God want to do in us in this next year as a church? Immeasurably more. God, what does that mean for us? And I just want you to lift up this church and really pray for God's leading in every place that He's calling us to go. So, y'all look at each other, get around your table. Somebody be bold enough to start that prayer. Everybody else chime in. By the way, we're doing this out loud, just so you know. After a couple of minutes, I'll wrap us up, okay? So y'all go ahead.